My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, a couple of years ago, I was preaching in Kolkata, where I encountered a wonderful lady. Her name is Judith D'Souza. She is an active member in our parish in Kolkata, involved with the youth ministry and many other parish activities. As I was having this wonderful discussion with Judith, there's something that I want to share of what happened to her. Judith was working in Afghanistan, in Kabul. She was working for an NGO known as Aga Khan Foundation. She was involved with the welfare of women, especially gender and equity issues. And on the 9th of June 2016, she was kidnapped by a terrorist organization. And she was held captive in hostage for 44 days. The ordeal was beyond imagination. A young girl in her late 30s, held hostage by terrorists. And as she was narrating the ordeal, she was locked up in a cell, completely dark. And every minute and every moment of those 44 days was terrible for Judith. She was clueless as to what would happen the very next moment. A gun could be pointed at her and bullets could be sprayed on her, and that could be her end. But in all those 44 days of ordeal, there's something that Judith shared just struck a chord. She had nothing with her. And so what she did was she took her dupatta, or what we call a scarf, and she tied about 10 knots. And she used those 10 knots to keep reciting the Rosary. And that was her only medium of prayer. And that's how she spent 44 days of ordeal, hoping for a miracle, hoping to stay alive. The terrorists tried to break her, but she was too powerful, with the powerful intercession of our Blessed Mother, to cave into the pressures of the terrorist. She kept hoping against hope, and her faith in the Lord was incredible. And thanks to that rosary that she kept praying every day, and all she had was a scarf. The terrorists were clueless about what she was muttering under her breath. But what she was actually muttering was the Hail Mary. Finally, on the 24th of July, miraculously, she was set free. Of course, there were negotiations happening between the Indian government and Kabul, diplomats with the terrorist organizations, but nothing would have been possible without the powerful intercession of our Blessed Mother. She's alive today, full of life and zest, giving a testimony of what our Mother has done to her. Well, the month of October is a month of Rosary. We recently celebrated the feast of Our Lady of Rosary on the 7th of October. The feast has its origin during a terrible battle that was fought in the year 1570. It was a great naval combat against the Ottoman Turks. The Ottoman Empire had incredible control in the naval field, and the Christendom was losing power because of the upper hand the Ottoman Turks had with regard to their naval fleet. The then Holy Father, Pope Pius V, encouraged the Christians to pray the Rosary every day. And miraculously, through the powerful intercession of our Blessed Mother and through the power of the Rosary, they defeated the Ottoman Turks and the naval fleet. It was a great naval victory. And this happened on the 7th of October, 1571. And the then Holy Father, Pope Pius V, declared that day as the feast of Our Lady of Rosary, attributing that victory through the powerful intercession of Our Lady and through the prayer of the Holy Rosary. 2 decades later, 2 centuries later, again in the year 1716, there was another combat with the Ottoman Empire, and there was another defeat they had to face during the octave of the Feast of Our Lady of Assumption. And again, that was made possible through the powerful intercession of our Blessed Mother and through the prayer of the Rosary. And the then Holy Father Clement XI made the Feast of Our Lady of Rosary as the universal feast of the Church in the year 1716. On both occasions, 1571, a new invocation to our Blessed Mother was added to the Litany of St. Loreto, Mary, Help of Christians. And in the year 1716, another invocation to our Blessed Mother was added to the Litany of St. Loreto, Queen of the Most Holy Rosary, pray for us. Well, we have these 2 incredible battles. These are just 2 of the many battles against which, through the power of our Blessed Mother and through the intercession and through the prayer of the Holy Rosary, the Christendom had won many battles. I'm just mentioning 2 of them. The famous of all was the Lepanto battle in 1571 against the Ottoman Turks. And the prayer to our Blessed Mother, the Rosary, was given to Saint Dominic to become the prayer of intercession. What is the Rosary, my dear friends? The word Rosary means roses. And we are offering these prayers seeking the powerful intercession of our Blessed Mother. St. John Paul II, who has great devotion to our Blessed Mother and to the Holy Rosary, and the many Holy Fathers have had great devotions, especially to the Holy Rosary prayer. And this is what St. John Paul II has to say about the Rosary. The Holy Rosary is the greatest compendium of the Holy Gospel. It's a compendium of the Holy Gospel put together in the Rosary. The Rosary is a contemplative prayer. And what do we contemplate in the Rosary? We contemplate the mysteries of human salvation made possible through Mary and her Son, Jesus Christ. It's the entire gospel put together in a nutshell. Every time you say the Rosary, you're actually reading the Gospels. It comes alive. And so, as a contemplative prayer, it has 2 aspects. It's a mental prayer, and it is an oral prayer. A mental and vocal prayer. So as a mental prayer, we meditate on the mysteries of human salvation, and as a vocal prayer, we recite the Rosary. And we go through the entire history of salvation, starting with the birth of Jesus Christ and joyful mysteries. We go through the life of Jesus in the luminous mysteries. We go through the passion and death of Jesus in the sorrowful mysteries, and through his glorious resurrection and assumption and the Pentecost in the glorious mysteries. So we have the entire human salvation put together in the Rosary, and that's why it's the compendium of the Holy Gospel, put together in a nutshell in the prayer of the Rosary. It's mental and vocal, and that's why it is a contemplative prayer. Now, is no ordinary prayer, my dear friends. Some of your Protestant friends may mock you, saying, why are you saying this prayer? It is no human prayer. It's a prayer taken from the scriptures, dear friends. We're actually praying the scriptures every time you pray the Hail Mary. What did I read for you in the gospel? The first half of the Hail Mary, what we call the Salutation, is made of 2 verses. There are 2 halves of the prayer of Hail Mary. The first half is known as Salutation, which comprises of 2 verses. The first verse is the salutation of the angel Gabriel to Mary. Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with you. And that is in the prayer Hail Mary. And the second half, the second verse of the salutation is from the greeting of Elizabeth, the cousin of Mary, to Mary. Blessed are you among women, and blessed is the fruit of thy womb, Jesus. Now you'll be wondering, how did we get the second half of the Hail Mary? Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners, now and at the hour of our death. Amen. Well, I'm going to take you through another history lesson. The context is the Black Plague, or the Black Death of the 14th century. It was a fatal disease wiping off most of Europe. It was then that the second half of the prayer was composed. Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the hour of our death. A prayer that came into origin during this terrible Black Plague, or what is known as the Black Death of the 14th century. And this is what is being said of that. This prayer was written to protect against this fatal disease, to bring in hope. Hope that was required for people who were reeling under this terrible disease. And so, my dear friends, it's not just the 14th century people who required this hope. We need this hope today, especially as the whole world is gripped by this terrible pandemic of the coronavirus. We need this hopeful dimension of the second half of the Hail Mary prayer more than ever today. So we have 2 contexts where the Rosary had a powerful impact: the battlefield and the plague. Even today, we go through a battlefield, what we call a spiritual warfare. And we need the prayer of the Rosary to protect us against the forces of darkness, to win against the evil forces. Just like how the Christendom won against the Ottoman Turks in the famous Battle of Lepanto, we too need the powerful intercession protection of our Blessed Mother against the spiritual battle that we all go through day in and day out. And just like how the origins of the second half of the Hail Mary was born in the context of a Black Plague that was so fatal to most part of Europe, we need that prayer today to bring in that hopeful dimension to our lives, especially as the world is gripped by this dreaded coronavirus. With these thoughts in mind, let us earnestly make the Holy Rosary a part and parcel of our daily life and of our family. And that's why Father Patrick Peyton coined the phrase, the family that prays together stays together. I remember there was a time in most of our homes and families where there was a set time each day when the family will come together to pray the Rosary. How unfortunate today that has become a bygone age. What a tragedy that Rosary is no longer a uniting factor in our homes and families. And no wonder we have so much of problems and miseries and broken homes and broken families. Let's bring the Rosary back into our homes and families. And the family that prays together stays together. And our Blessed Mother will see you through any fatal moments of your life and of your family life, and will bring to you plentiful graces from her Son Jesus. As our founder, St. Alphonsus, would beautifully say, anyone who has recourse to our Blessed Mother will never be lost.